If you ask many a retro gaming fan what their favorite consoles are, chances are better than good that they're going to include the Super Nintendo on that list. Super Nintendo is extremely popular, and for that reason, I'm not going to include any history or background on the system this time around. As you may already know, normally when I do an A to Z video, I choose games at random on that system or in that genre, but this time around, due to the sheer number of games on the Super Nintendo's library and also the popularity of the Super Nintendo, I am not going to do any of that this time. I'm strictly going to focus on games that I don't hear talked about that often. Maybe they're underrated, maybe they're just uncommon. So with that said, if I mention a game that you're not at all familiar with, maybe you found something new to check out. Otherwise, hope you enjoy the nostalgia trip. Let's go on with the A to Z. A is for Axelay. You're the last line of defense against enemy invaders in Konami's dual perspective shooter with impressive visuals for the time. B is for Bust a Move. Classic arcade-style puzzle action featuring the characters from Bubble Bobble. There have been lots of variations on this one. C is for Combat Tribes. Have you ever played a beat-em-up game that doesn't have a jump button? If you play this one, you can say that you have. Trust me, there's better out there. D is for D-Force. This overhead helicopter shmup doesn't D around. I'm terrible at it, but the power-ups are pretty sweet and you don't lose them when you die. E is for Equinox, a sequel of sorts to Solstice on the NES. I can never get used to the perspective and controls on these puzzle platformers. F is for Fighter's History. Capcom took Data East to court over how similar this game is to Street Fighter II, but frankly, I've seen many worse ripoffs. G is for Ghoul Patrol. This is the sequel to Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but there's something about it that just really falls short if you ask me. H is for Hagane. If you were to take elements from Strider and Ninja Gaiden and then make the game worth about $500 in the used market, then you have Hagane. I is for Anindo, Way of the Ninja. JRPGs don't get more Japanese than this. Play as a ninja out to avenge his home and stop the evil warlord Nobunaga. J is for Jim Lee's Wildcats, a beat-em-up based on the comic by the legendary artist. What can possibly go wrong? I think you know the answer already. K is for Kirby's Avalanche, a take on the Japanese puzzle game Puyo Puyo, featuring characters from the Kirby games. It's fun alone or with a friend. L is for Legend, hack and slash action on the Super Nintendo. It looks nice, but it's no Golden Axe or Knights of the Round. Not even close. M is for Magic Sword. Why do the heroes in so many of these medieval fantasy things wear such little clothing? Does it get them chicks? Or dudes? Or whatever they're into? I don't know. N is for the Ninja Warriors. Do you like robots? Do you like ninjas? Do you like difficult games? Then you might like this one. I just don't recommend playing as the big ninja. O is for Operation Logic Bomb, the third in the Akari no Yosai trilogy. Like the two Game Boy games that preceded this, it's a really neat overhead run and gun game. P is for the Peacekeepers. The Super Nintendo had a lot of beat-em-ups. This one is pretty forgettable, but one thing interesting about it is it does have a block button. Q is for Q*bert 3. I always wanted to like console ports of Q*bert, but the controls are usually just so awkward. This game actually suggests you hold your controller at a 45-degree angle. R is for Run Saber, an extremely blatant rip-off of Strider. Looks and controls decent though. Play as a cyber super ninja to take down a scientist and his mutant army. S is for Skulljagger. Is it me, or does this game almost look like it belongs on the Master System with these graphics? Really generic platforming here. T is for Time Slip. Platforming run and gun with some really neat looking landscapes and backgrounds and a power-up system that reminds me of that in shoot-em-ups. U is for Ultimate Fighter. You know that expression, jack of all trades, master of none? This one doesn't even qualify as a jack. 4-in-1 minus the fun. V is for Vortex, transforming on-rail Super FX shooters. Think Star Fox, but the ship can transform into a robot, and it sucks. Really, really bad. W is for Whiz. For the record, I hate platforming games with an isometric 3D layout. I usually don't get crude, but taking a whiz is more fun than this game. X is for Excalibur 2097. The best thing about this game is its music. I've never made it past the first boss back in the day, and it seems like I'm not the only one. Y is for Young Merlin. Weird little adventure game with quirky animations and some great looking visuals, but it's not completely style over substance. Z is for Zool, Ninja of the Nth Dimension. What do you call a platforming game that's way too colorful and moves too fast for its own good? Why, you call it Zool. Truth be told, I think some of the games I chose for this A to Z, they're not talked about all that often, probably because nobody wants to talk about some of these games. And you know what? That's okay, because there are a ton of awesome Super Nintendo games out there as well. But you know what? Since I am bringing up the subject of bad games, maybe that's a subject for another A to Z video. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. If you like what you see, please feel free to subscribe. Also, you can get in touch with me on various social media outlets. You can find the links to those down in the description of this video. New videos are uploaded every Monday and occasionally on Thursdays as well. Once again, thank you for watching. Take care.